Your Madge, take this.
Sure.
That nail ought to hold this sign.
Holds £20, says so on the box.
I'll settle for $20.
Gee, Betty, you expect that much of a return?
It pays to advertise. They do it for Christmas, so why not for my birthday?
Nothing ventured, nothing in the piggy bank.
Well, if that doesn't bring results, nothing will.
You can go bugle and announce it.
I'll see what Rebecca's has my family first. Right now, we're going to my room to go through a few details before the staff arrives. I have settled on just the perfect name for an intimate neighborhood newspaper.
You have? What is it?
The Babbler. And our slogans will be, see all, hear all, tell all.
Wonderful. Gee, am I glad my Uncle George gave me that mimeograph machine last Christmas.
Let us have 3 seconds of silent thanks to the generosity of your Uncle George.
1, 2, 3.
That's enough. We mustn't spoil Uncle George. Come on, let's go. We've got to get organized before the complete staff of the Babbler arrives.
I'm getting a big kick out of this. I've always wanted to be a newspaper woman.
And we'll give this neighborhood a newspaper that will make them sit up and take notice.
10 more shopping days before my birthday, signed Betty.
There's nothing sacred in this house.
Now that one's not too bad.
See something you like, Granny Brooks?
Home early from the bank, aren't you?
A little. We finished earlier than usual. It's too warm out to wear a coat.
I like the warm weather. Hate the winter, my legs get cold.
Where's Mother?
It's Friday, isn't it?
That's right. It's Mother's afternoon at Bridge. I'll have time to return my library book before dinner.
You left it on the table over there. Thinking of buying myself some new finery. Getting tired of looking old. Now, here's a nice number for a young girl like me. Bet it would do something for me, too.
It certainly would, Granny. Too much, I'm afraid. I'll freshen up a bit before I head for the library.
Think I'm kidding, do you? Bet I'm still good for a whistle, and I don't mean Whistler's mother.
Why, Grandma, what big ideas you have.
I was a tease back in my day, and don't you forget it.
Strip?
Don't get facetious. When I was a young girl, the only thing we had to drop was a handkerchief. That always brought results.
Life was simpler in your youth, Granny.
Looks worse every day.
Well, another wasted afternoon. And for what? A first place prize should have been a booby prize. All my choice for tricks put into action for a plastic flower snoop. Disgusting. No wonder everybody laughed when I opened it. And on top of the insult, our hostess, that horrible half-woman, said too much energy and drive was devoted to prizes, and too little thought given to the pleasantries of the game. After all, Bridge wasn't invented to be a strawberry festival. So many people have fundamental incentives of existence. They lose a hundred words the minute they're 30 to them, and by the time they're 40, they trade what little individuality they have for a horrible future in an uncomfortable wheelchair. Mother Brooks, why don't you say something?
Well,
You're so right, but that's people for you. No betting go, no pitching or riding the star, none of gold in their bullshit system. It's pathetic. Tish Wiggins is in Tom again for the boy time, and Lisa Mercer still taking those weekly trips to the city to see her doctor, presumably. I wonder when she thinks she's born, or I was supposed to get by and what's going on back with me. Oh dear, I should start thinking about dinner.
Hello, Mom. Hi, Granny. Here's the evening paper.
Granny, I'm not that old.
You're ready coming home from school, Homer. What kept you?
Our Uncle Lucy and her mother gave us some cakes and a Coke.
You know I don't approve of snacks between meals. Besides, I think you're much too young to be walking girls home.
Oh, gee, Mom. I'm not a kid. I'll be 15 on my next birthday.
When you're 16, it will be time enough for you to start thinking about girls.
I'll be too old then.
Right now, you should be thinking of your education.
I've got 3 more years to think of that. Lucy's a sweet dish, and if I don't keep stirring her, the other guys will ladle in.
Really, Homer? There are times when I don't quite know what you're saying. This generation is starting as a challenge to English-speaking people.
There's nothing to it, Mom.
Of that I am convinced. What in heaven's name? 10 more shopping days before my birthday sign, Betty?
Subtle, ain't she?
I wonder why such drastic measures.
As I recall, her take wasn't so good last year.
Your father and I gave her that party that she wanted.
She didn't get the rhinestone evening back.
Betty's too young for anything so sophisticated as that. And Mother Brooks gave her that gold beaded evening purse. It was lovely.
Betty didn't think so. And this year, Pop will be in Chicago on her birthday. Maybe she thinks a little advertising won't do any harm.
We'll ignore her aggressive efforts to remind us and won't acknowledge that we can see it.
We'll never get away with it. I know Betty.
We can try. Just what does she think we are?
Forgetful, probably.
We'll ignore the advertising just for spots, so we turn out to be so forward in the future.
That won't dull or spark plugs any.
Nevertheless, we forget that it's up there, and we'll start dinner right away.
Gosh, I forgot to ask Lucy to go to the movies with me tonight.
Homework, do your homework.
Aw, gee, a guy can't even indulge a little romance around this house.
You're weak in geometry and positively anemic in Latin.
Latin galls me more than 3 parts. It galls me all over.
Well, you're not leaving this house tonight until all your assignments are completed.
Well, they're having a sale of ladies' fall outfits down in Marshall Fields, and they're open tonight till 9.
Gotta invent homework to strum by his eyelids. A mo, a mas, a mot. So what? When 2 lines intersect, the vertical angles are equal. That 10 cents will get me on the bus. If it's Lucy, I'll take it.
Hello? I'll take that, Mother Brooks. No one ever calls you when you know that.
That's what you think.
Homer, I forgot to stop by the bakery for the chiffon pie. Run down and get it right away, or we won't have any dessert for dinner.
I gotta do my homework. You said so. Send Betty.
It'll be here when you get back.
I wish you'd make up your mind. It's no wonder I'm moronic. You don't even give a guy a chance to study.
Hello? Oh, it's you, Bessie. Missed you at bridge today. Where were you? Oh, I know just how you feel. Dentist be boring in tears. Oh, the usual thing, Bessie. I love to talk about nothing. I won first prize again today. Disgusting. Something I can give as a Christmas present to my worst friend. Oh, I'm tired of plastic flowers food. If she got it for 50 cents, she was legit. Probably had it in the pantry for ages. No, they'll be gone for 2 weeks or more. They're holding him over at the branch store in Chicago. Of course I'll miss him. They'll have a nice bonus when he gets back. I suppose you've run over to the apartment upstairs. Because Edna's spending 6 months in California, I could see her apartment literally going to waste with so many people begging for places. Oh, good, Edna won't mind. Besides, I'm giving her half the rent. $30 a week, $120 a month. I think that's pretty good. A young couple from the city, the Kingsleys. To tell you the truth, I don't know what they do for a living. They go to the library a lot, bring home some books. One of them uses a portable typewriter, but I don't know what for. Likes to write letters, probably? They're nice enough, but they're not our kind, though. Oh, you know, they're different. They keep to themselves, mind their own business, not at all interesting. Oh, there goes the doorbell. Come in, the door's unlocked. Must be some of Betty's friends. Oh, and before I forget, as if I would, I think Steve and Mildred are splitting. I heard she's packed every stitch she had and left over to her mother's day before yesterday. No, Steve gave up drinking and went in for winking. Blonde hair with black rings on his jacket and the wrong color lipstick on his handkerchief. Men are so foolish, Bessie. When they burn both ends of the candle from the middle, they should watch where the tallow drips. What's that? As far as I know, they haven't caught the jewelry store over again. That young sheriff had me come down to his office again yesterday. By the way you questioned me, you think I did it. How was I supposed to know the jewelry store robbers were passing just a few minutes after the robbery? I think he's trying to trick me. But I know what I saw. Besides, I think he's too young to be sheriff. Oh dear. He's here now. The sheriff. Bessie, the sheriff. He just came in. I'll have to call you back later. Bye. Hello, Sheriff Weston.
Good evening, Miss Brooks.
I suppose you've dropped in to question me further about the jewelry store robbery?
No, Mrs. Brooks, I merely stopped by today to ask for a personal favor.
Of course, Sheriff, anytime. Do sit down.
No, I think I'd better stand.
Well, suit yourself. Making any headway on the robbery?
Now that your very unhelpful assistance can be disregarded and attributed to fantasy rather than fact, yeah, I might start making some progress.
What did you say?
In other words, Mrs. Brooks, I'm saying you made up that story about the jewelry robbers passing you.
I did no such thing. I distinctly saw them pass me, and they were each carrying 2 huge bags.
The 2 men who passed you were salesmen walking to the bus terminal to catch the last bus into the city. And for your information, it wasn't on Main Street where they passed you. It was on State.
Was I really walking on State Street? I thought it was Main.
Yes, and also the 2 men weren't carrying big bags. They were briefcases. And they also weren't 2 big burly men like you so vividly described them. One of the men was tall and the other was short.
Are you you sure?
Positive. I just came back from talking with both of them. They remember you quite well. They said that you stood in the middle of the sidewalk and they had to step off to let you by.
I did no such thing. They were monopolizing the sidewalk, and I merely refused to budge.
Well, we won't get into that now. I merely stopped by today to ask for your kind cooperation.
As you know, Sheriff Weston, I'm a very civic-minded person, and if there's anything I can do, all you have to do is ask.
The cooperation that I want from you, Mrs. Brooks, is don't do it.
Don't do what?
Talk.
I've never heard such a preposterous request. Everybody talks.
But they don't abuse the privilege.
Are you inferring, Sheriff Weston, that I talk too much?
Not only too much, but too often and with too little regard for fact.
Well, I never.
I have been in office for almost a year now, and during that time, you have been in my hair 5 times. First, it was the mad dog that wasn't mad at all, and it wasn't part wolf and part collie, it was a cocker spaniel. Second, it was the shoplifter at Woolsworth who wasn't a shoplifter at all and turned out to be the mayor's wife. Third, it was the man you accused of stealing a woman's handbag at the bus terminal, when he wasn't stealing a woman's handbag. Get this, he was merely going through his wife's handbag to look for bus tickets. Fourth, it was the automobile accident, and I don't even think I have to get into that.
Well, that neighborhood driver's car looked darker to me, and it had an out-of-town license plate too.
It was black, a local car, and he wasn't a hit-and-run driver.
It was too. It ran 5 blocks before it stopped.
1 block, and after realizing that he'd hit someone or something, he turned around. So in the future, Mrs. Brooks, please, keep it to yourself, whether it be murder or mayhem. And that goes for the rest of your family, too.
Why don't you talk? One would think you were a tribe of troublemakers.
Make it, Miss Brooks, you invented it!
Excuse me, please.
Well, hello.
This is my daughter, Norma.
How do you do, Sheriff Weston?
Oh, you know me?
Of course, I see you quite frequently at the bank. I work there.
And why haven't I seen you around?
I'm in the clerical department. I handle the checking accounts.
Have I overdrawn lately?
If you had, I would have made out a little pink slip, and the bank would have mailed you a polite, caustic reminder.
If it were your duty to write to me personally, I'd make a point of overdrawing the first thing in the morning.
Mother, I'm going to return this book to the library. I forgot to take it with me this morning. Enjoyed meeting you, Sheriff Weston.
Wait, my car's out back. I'll take you.
Don't forget what I told you, Norma, about accepting rides from a stranger.
If I have my way about it, Miss Brooks, we won't be strangers for long.
Sure of yourself, aren't you, Sheriff?
You bet. I have the law on my side.
Play safe, Norma. Figure out which side it's on and take the other.
Say, how did a beautiful thing like you get mixed up into this family?
I was born into it. Any objections?
Sure have. It was a blind stork that delivered you.
Don't let that uniform fool you, Norma. Underneath that quarter wool is a wolf.
If we don't get out of here in a second or two, your mother's gonna have you thinking I'm Jack the Ripper, or worse.
Mother has a strong feeling for facts.
I certainly wish she'd make contact with it every once in a while.
If you're not back within the hour, I'll suspect the worst.
I won't be long.
Goodbye, Mrs. Brooks, and have yourself a happy hallucination.
Where are you going, Mother Brooks, at this hour of the day?
Shopping.
The store will be closed in an hour.
Not the one I'm going to. Not till 9 o'clock, anyway.
Can't you wait until tomorrow?
No, there's a sale on and I need some new clothes.
New clothes? What for? You never go anyplace.
Well, there never was any place I wanted to go. But with some new clothes, I might get ideas.
Shall I keep a plate in the oven for you?
No need. I'll grab a snack downtown.
How long are you going to be gone?
Haven't the slightest idea.
Well, hurry right back. You know what happens to old ladies when they're out late.
It gets dark.
I'll answer, Mother. It's the game.
They can't stay too long, dear. It's getting too near dinner time.
But this is terribly important, Mother. We have to discuss some big business.
But don't make it too big, darling. I'm sure your friends have families to go to and dinners to eat.
I'll get it.
See that they don't stay too long, Madge, and that goes for you too, dear.
Yes, Mrs. Brooks.
And when you're done, I want Benny to set the table for me.
Yes, Mrs. Brooks.
I can't see how young people will find so much to do.
I'm glad you boys got here on time. Where's Kay?
Now that I don't get. Hello, Amanda.
Hi. Don't get what?
Why you selected Kay as a member of the staff?
It has been my impression that we plan to launch a reputable neighborhood journal full of flaming facts with torrid truths.
Yeah, she never gets anything straight, even though she breathes this free air of America.
As Greg says, let's face facts. After all, she has the reputation of being a skid talker. I've never met a girl who could say so much in so little time and get nowhere fast.
Exactly. Take that classic remark she made this afternoon in English class, when she brought in the wrong book report. Don't blame me, says she. After all, none of us are human. I ask you.
She wears 2 suits every day, and the one that shows the most covers her tongue.
That's why I want her on the staff.
You're out of your mind.
I know what I'm doing.
She'll blow up the whole works, believe me.
If she gets anything straight, she'll have to bring it in on a stretcher.
She's always good for a laugh. People love to have her around.
Possibly in a nauseating sort of way.
I have chosen my staff very carefully. I chose you, Greg, because you're down to earth. You'll go out and get the facts. I chose you, Dawn, because I know you will go out and get the sophisticated angle. Madge, of course, will help me in editing and publishing. And Kay Cornwell will be our public relations director. Her department is to get ads and sell subscriptions. And by the time she is done with a prospective subscriber, he won't know whether he's subscribed to our paper, the Ladies' Home Journal, or the Saturday Evening Post. Under those circumstances, is that bad?
Sales achieved through the art of confusion. Not bad at all.
If they're not confused by the time she signs them up, they'll be so frustrated, it won't matter anyway.
When do we start this journalistic adventure?
We're going to break ground at this very meeting and lay the cornerstone, so to speak.
Betty has it all laid out so professional-like.
Our little weekly neighborhood newspaper must catch on with the first issue, or the picture is a dead duck. We must strike. That's gay. Madge, let her in.
Radio!
How many copies of the first issue do you plan to run on?
Well, according to the registry of voters in this district, it should be nearly 500. But we'll print off 500 anyway.
Hi, Madge. Hi, Betty. I'm so sorry I'm late, but I didn't know if it was at your house or Madge's or mine, but I did know it was a house.
Oh, great.
You need to be so elegant, Don Stewart. After all, I may be wrong, but I'm not far from it. Hope I didn't miss anything.
We were just getting down to facts when you arrived.
Oh, I love facts. They're so fabulous. Now take that TV program, Face the Facts. It's a great show. Don't lose it, Dan.
I'll try to remember.
Why, you don't believe the things that actually happen in this world, and they've been going on for quite a while. I feel so good in my ponytail arrest. Where were we?
Getting down to facts, remember?
Oh, good. Don't we stop you?
Thanks. As I was saying before, our weekly neighborhood newspaper will live or die with the first issue. Therefore, it's got to be sensational. To begin with, we must have a name to identify its purpose. So I have chosen the name, The Babbler, and our slogan will be, see all, hear all, tell all. Do I hear any objections?
I'm all for it.
So be it.
Amen.
You mean we're not going to leave anything to the imagination?
The public has no imagination.
They do too. Why, the people who visited us at a summer camp remarked on how beautiful it was, and our Mother Nature stimulated their imagination. Believe it or not, the lake comes right up from the shore.
How ducky for you.
It's true. And some nights it's so dark, you can see everywhere you look.
Unbelievable.
That would take a bit of imagination, Betty. Go on.
Well, to launch our first issue successfully, we must accomplish these things. Go out and get the news and report it without prejudice. We want the facts. Everyone wants to know what's going on in this neighborhood. It's human nature. Our object is to get those facts and report them. However, we will hold our first issue until we can scoop a headline that will make this neighborhood sit up and take notice. It's the only way to create sales and circulations. I don't care how you get the news. Just get it.
Right, and I know how to do it.
Dawn, I'll expect a good gossip column from you. Sophisticated, full of dynamic innuendos.
Will do.
And Kay, it's your job to go out and get our advertisers and subscriptions. I'll give you a complete layout by tomorrow morning, showing our price per page, half page, quarter page, and an eighth. The Babbler will sell for 10 cents per single copy and 5 cents by subscription. If anyone asks you what our object is, tell them we're a non-profit dedicated to better understanding between neighbors.
Well, I think it's a great idea. I always say people should learn to mingle before they mix.
A brilliant deduction, Miss Cornwell. I'm sure your mother loves dumb animals.
She's mad about them. My whole family believes in being dumb kind of animals.
A schizophrenic if I ever heard one.
Well, I guess I am a little different than most people. My uncle DeWitt has a split personality all in one. He's a very popular man, my uncle. Like just last week, he was at Mayor Sheffield's banquet. It was a wonderful affair. Everyone in the room was there.
Oh, my aching brain. We'll wind up renaming our journal the Booby Hatch.
If this keeps up, I'll be waving to the guy in the little white coat.
Conserve your energy and devote it to a good cause. Starting with this very night, I want everyone here to keep his eyes and ears open for a scoop. It's got to be terrific to launch our paper. Something that the regular newspapers don't get. And that is going to take a lot of doing.
That's a hug and a half to hand to a guy. Where are we gonna unearth a scoop like that?
It can happen any hour, any minute, any second. Look everywhere. It can suddenly explode in your backyard, in your living room, any place. Personally, I'm wiring this room for sound. May I turn in the microphone for my room, please?
Right.
As far as the immediate neighborhood is concerned, I can get all my choice bits of news right from this room.
How so?
A correspondent, a foreign correspondent, someone who is not a part of our staff and will never be aware she's contributing to our paper.
Betty, somebody we know?
Very well. And she'll get the unabridged edition of it too.
Who is it?
My mother. Not only is she the first to know when it happens, she knows when it's going to happen.
How are we gonna do it without your mother knowing?
Simple, when you know how.
Here's the mic, Betty.
Thanks. Now go stand over there by the door and don't let my mother come in without warning me first.
I'll whistle if I see your head in this way.
Good, and make it loud too. I'm going to conceal this mic right here in the space of flowers. I have earphones in my room and I can lower or amplify anything that's being said in here.
Now I get it.
There, is the cord visible?
Not from here. Can't see a thing. That cord's practically invisible.
Say no more. That's it.
That's playing it smart. All the news and nobody knows where you're getting it. Boy, I'd like to be on the other end of a mic, hidden in the coffee clutch room of the Ladies Civic Guild. They don't just spin the news there, they spawn it.
Oh, it all sounds so exciting. I hope it goes over with a crash.
Here comes the foreign correspondent.
That means our first session is over. Act very nonchalant as you file out.
It's getting late, young people, and I'm sure your parents are expecting you home for dinner.
We're on our way out now, Miss Brooks.
You're always welcome, you understand? I just know how your mothers feel when it's dinner time.
Oh, don't think we don't feel welcome, Miss Brooks, because we're not, and we're all so grateful.
It's your turn to set the table tonight, Betty.
I'll take care of it, Mother.
Strange girl.
Come on, let's get going.
When do we meet again?
I'll keep you posted. But if you should run across a scoop, let me know right away. Matter of fact, report any exceptional bit of news as soon as you get it.
Will do.
How about adding this as a slogan to our paper? All the news before it happens.
Outside, sister.
Out.
Huh? What's this? 10 more shopping days before my birthday sign. Smart girl. Good hunting.
I guess I better be going too.
Oh, before we go, I want to test my mind.
Okay, what should I do?
Start by counting to 10. That'll give me enough time to get to my room and put in the earphones. Then start talking.
What shall I say?
Anything that comes into your head.
Anything?
Anything, just talk.
Okay.
Start counting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 to 1, ninth inning. Everybody on the bases are loaded. I mean, all loaded or on the bases. Oh, that ain't it either. All bases are on the load. Everybody's on a loaded base. Oh, I never liked baseball anyway. Can you hear me?
Sure, every word. It works wonderful.
I gotta get going. It's my turn to set the table at our house tonight. Call me if you need me.
Maybe I'll drop over later.
Why not? We need more practice on the mimeograph machine anyway.
Sure do. We've got to be experts at it by the time it comes to publish our paper. But right now, I'm going to my room to get used to my earphones. See you later.
Bye, gotta rush.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there.
It's a wonder that little speed demon didn't bowl you over. She's a drip without a faucet. And I could think of a way to get rid of her too.
It wasn't intentional, Carl. She just wasn't looking.
That's no excuse. You're too easy with these careless offenders, Julia. Now, I wonder how we go about paying rent for that crack's nest upstairs.
What's this? Cute.
Huh, an inventive little monster, isn't she?
Indicative of an unbridled imagination.
Indicative of a selfish mind that fears the possibility of being overlooked.
Your mind is being warped by your acts of violence, Carl. You've reached the point where you can't see the good in anyone.
Is there any?
Adding cynicism to your already distorted mind will not diminish your lust for blood. You may take the inference any way you like.
So we've gotten back to that again. You know, I think very strongly about this situation. The man's a menace, and it stands to reason he must be wiped out.
I don't see the dire necessity for it. We can work this out some other way. This isn't the first time we've been faced with this situation.
There's no use beating about the bush or backtracking. We've had it out pro and con, and out of the deep within your common sense, you feel the same way as I. There's nothing left for us to do.
But one violence on top of another? Why?
You know the answer as well as I, so face it, we've got to murder Merrill.
Let's not jump into this too hastily, Carl. There are angles to consider. The police are already alerted. How's your mastermind going to handle them?
I've handled them successfully before, haven't I?
Mark my words, Carl. You'll hit an impenetrable snag one day.
We've managed to get around it so far, haven't we?
Pure luck. But there's an end of the line for everyone. Let's not stretch our luck too far.
Weak thinking, that's your fault. Always has been.
You stabbed that man from Toledo in the heart last month. You regretted it. You admitted to yourself it was a hasty act without sufficient motive. You can't go and killing people, Carl, because it's the easiest way to solve your problems.
My motive is foolproof this time. Merrill has got to be murdered. And we're going to plan that little job tonight.
What's right?
Because we procrastinated long enough. The job's got to be done, and you know it.
Well, perhaps you're right this time.
I'm always right.
How will you do it?
Strangle him with a silk stocking and then tie it into a neat bow around his neck. Nylon is very strong. A good, clean murder, nothing messy. What should I do with this rent?
Leave it on the table over there. Mrs. Brooks will find it.
I don't approve of leaving money around at large. See if Mrs. Brooks is in the kitchen.
All right. She's out there.
Well, call her.
Mrs. Brooks, may we see you, please? She's coming.
Good.
Oh, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Kingsley. Is everything all right upstairs?
We're managing very nicely, thank you. Here's next week's rent and tax.
Thank you very much. I trust everything is satisfactory.
It will do.
I hope you'll keep the apartment for a while.
Well, that all depends on how things turn out for us here.
Are you looking for work?
No, that's the least of our worries.
Well, good luck. Whatever it is.
Thank you, Mrs. Brooks. We could use it. Come Julia, we have things to do.
See you later, Mrs. Brooks.
I hope so. Bye. Betty! Betty!
Yes, Mother?
Time to set the table.
Be right there.
Don't dawdle.
Such nice people.
That's what they are! Murderers! What a scoop!
Stick 'em up, you. But Lucy, yes, I know I did. But I know I promised to see you tonight. I can't. I gotta do my homework. Lucy, you can't do that to me. If you did that, creep on. I'll jump off the trestle. I'll even... Lucy, don't hang up. She did.
Homer, do your homework.
What's the use? Nothing matters anymore. I lost Lucy.
You lost what?
Lucy. She's gonna date that creep from Maple Avenue.
What creep?
Southpaw Sammy. And all because I have to do my homework.
Your homework is much more important.
No, it isn't. And you'll be sorry when I grow up to be a bachelor.
Well, we'll worry about that after you grow up. Right now, I want to see a little action on those textbooks.
Homework. It clutters up a guy's life. Never gives him any chance to himself. I hate education. I'm miserable.
You'll be even more miserable if you fail any of your midterms. You know how your father feels about that. He'll deny you all privileges if that happens.
What good are privileges if you don't have time to use them? It's like giving something with one hand and then taking it away with the other.
You'll feel quite differently about it in the years to come.
Maybe I won't live that long. Without Lucy, who cares?
There'll be other Lucys in your life. Don't let it worry you.
There'll never be another Lucy for me as long as I live.
Hello? Oh, it's you, Bessie. I was just going to call you. Now wait until I can sit down correctly. I'm listening now, Bessie. Go on. You don't say. When did this happen? Is that right? Why, I was only talking to her the other day and she said, well, that isn't what she told me. No, she said her daughter didn't know he was a married man. And get this, Bessie, it wasn't until after she became engaged to him that she found out. Can you imagine a girl, being in her late 20s no less, being so gullible as to fall for the lie that was handed to her? If you ask me, there's more being swept under the rug than ever got into the dustpan. Don't believe a word of it. A moment in my eye. If she actually fell for that old chestnut, she should consult her favorite psychiatrist. What's that? Well, someone's at your door? Well, call me back later. I'll be in all evening. Bye.
Can't you find some other place to do your homework, Homer?
What's wrong with this?
It makes the room look so untidy, and your friend sprawled out there on the lounge doesn't add to the decor.
Never said I was pretty, did I?
But you don't have to look revolting.
And where are we going tonight, Cinderella? All varnished and shellacked?
She's going to a party with that thinks he's somebody's sheriff.
He is somebody, and he'll be a big figure in politics one day.
Right now, he acts like a drugstore cowboy with too much authority.
You're prejudiced, Mother. You haven't liked him since he straightened you out on that story of yours about the jewelry store robbery.
Well, I know what I saw, and he's too short-sighted to take a witness's word for fact. He has no right to the office that he holds. What you see in that man escapes me completely.
It's evident we're not taking inventory with the same eyes.
I should hope not. I have far more respect for my vision. What happened to Albert? You haven't gone on a date with him since you started seeing this Hal Weston. Albert is the kind of boy a woman can talk to.
Phooey! Who wants to talk to women?
I think it's very nice of Albert to take the time to be so kind and courteous. You would do well, Homer, to take him as an example.
Oh, he's a tatty-ish hank if you ask me. More manners than manly. I'm glad Norma gave him the door.
Thank you, Homer, and for the first time ever, I'm fully in accord.
This family has changed drastically in the past few weeks since your father's been away, and he isn't going to like it very much when he gets back either. I doubt very much he'll approve of your Hal Weston, and this I Love Lucy routine will definitely be curtailed. And that right there wouldn't have lasted a single day with your father around, and we're still going to ignore it, understand?
It's down to 5 now. In a few days, well, Betty's so frustrated, she won't know whether she's having a birthday or not.
And not only that, Mother Brooks suddenly slipped into a senile state.
Quite the contrary, I would say, Mother.
She's getting childish, and that's the first stages of it. She won't even wear her glasses anymore.
Rejuvenation can scarcely be attributed to senility.
Wow, you sound like something out of my homework.
It's ridiculous. If she keeps it up, she'll look younger than I do.
Is that bad?
Homer, do your homework. I was talking to your sister.
Personally, I think Granny's having the time of her life. She's filling in some sort of gap she didn't do years ago, and I admire her for it.
Well, the neighbors don't. They're beginning to talk about it.
Jealousy is the egg of an ulcer.
Homer, do your homework.
What do you think I'm doing?
You're not giving it your undivided attention. As you know, Mother Brooks has been gone since 3 o'clock this afternoon. I held dinner for almost an hour for her. She hasn't phoned, she hasn't shown up yet, and another thing I don't like is the way she's been associating with the tenants upstairs. She's gotten too chummy with them in too short of time and never says a word of what's going on up there.
If they enjoy her company, what's wrong with that?
I don't approve of it. There's such a disparity in their ages.
Age has nothing to do with it, Mother. You either like a person or you don't, and they seem to have taken quite a fancy to Granny. I think it's wonderful.
It's the morale effect I object to. You're too young to remember her season at summer stock and all the misery and embarrassment it caused us. I told your father right from the start it was a mistake to room and board an actor under your roof.
Where else would you room and board him?
Homer, do your homework!
Granny, an actress?
Illusions of grandeur, believe me.
Hot dog! A skeleton in the closet!
Homer, do your
homework!
Oh, I know now that a gal feels as young as she looks. How do you think I feel?
Terrible. A woman your age should learn how to grow gracefully.
I've reversed the theory, Nettie. I'm learning how to grow young gracefully.
Me like.
Thank you, Homer.
It's very becoming, Granny.
Well, while we're on the subject of Granny, I would like to make a request of this age-thinking family. I would appreciate your not addressing me as Granny in the future.
But we've always called you Granny.
Well, no time like the present to get out of the rut.
What do you want us to call you, Granny?
Well, since you have to show respect for people slightly older than yourself, and since it would be proper for you to use my first name, I think perhaps my middle name would answer the purpose.
I didn't know you had a middle name.
I do, and it's one I've always been very fond of. I would like to hear it used in the future.
All right, tell us what it is.
It's Deborah.
Debbie for short.
I like Debbie.
Homer, do your homework. And where have you been all afternoon? I held dinner for almost an hour for you.
I was at the beauty parlor.
Could have phoned when you knew you'd be late for dinner.
Well, I was suddenly under the dryer when I realized I'd be late. So how could I phone? It never dawned on me that getting the works at a beauty parlor would take so much time.
Well, you certainly look like they gave you the works.
Personally, I think it turned out fine.
New dress, Debbie?
First time on.
Very becoming.
Thank you. And where are you going all streamlined and Simonized?
She's going to a dance with Sheriff Weston.
Oh, how nice. I like that young man. He gives you a sort of...
Pain in the neck.
Certainly not, Nettie. Slightly lower left side. Oh, what a wonderful feeling.
Were you really an actress once, Debbie?
Was I an actress? You can ask your mother. She's seen me perform.
I
She can.
certainly can. And all you said about that, the better.
You're just prejudiced, Nettie. Everyone said I was perfectly wonderful in every part I played.
You only played 2 parts in your life, and the company folded and headed.
I would have been a star if they had continued. Oh, which reminds me, where did I leave my copy of Macbeth?
See what I mean? The old urge is returning. Doesn't think summer stock companies are a thing of the past.
Oh, I bet Debbie would be around one of those giveaway programs.
Don't ever let your father hear you call Mother Brooks Debbie.
Why not she wants me to?
Debbie Dale was her stage name. You might as well set off a stick of dynamite as to mention it in the presence of your father.
Brady gets more interesting by the minute.
I blame it all on the tenants upstairs. It wasn't until she started going up there that she got these ideas of being young. Every time she goes up, she loses 5 years on her way down.
A couple more trips until we got the guidance.
Homer, do your homework! I'll go have a heart to heart with Mother Brooks. She's got to draw the line someplace.
By the way, Norma, not the record so to speak, how are you now making out?
No news from that field of action, my little Tom's brother. But if it's news you're after, did you hear what happened to your friend Tom Riley?
No, what happened?
Oh, the usual thing that happens when a young know-it-all thinks he's playing with an unloaded gun. It went off, but lucky for him, the bullet barely grazed his ankle.
How do you know?
Hal had to go down there this afternoon to check on the scene of the accident. It's a good thing his father had a permit. Gosh, look at the time. I've got to finish getting dressed for Hal will be here before I'm ready.
Don't shock the sheriff by being on time or you're losing the home stretch.
Oh, do your homework. How did I wait? Didn't you see him in a hurry?
Yes, my lady. What's eating the Duchess besides her sweet acid disposition?
I gave her a little dig and it penetrated. Say, did you hear about Tom Riley?
Must I?
Oh, he was fooling around with his father's gun and shot himself just below the ankle. He's in a bad shape and he loses his foot.
Gee, that's too bad. But he always was unhappy.
Wait, what happened to my mechanical pencil?
You probably left it in your room, stupid.
Oh yeah, I remember now. I did. Can't do my homework without it.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping in the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. Oh, hello, dear. Macbeth, I'm brushing up, so to speak.
Brushing up what?
Brushing up my talent of banishing the cobwebs.
Speaking of devils, Granny, I'd be mighty careful of those 2 upstairs. They're doing things to you. I can see it. You've changed.
Nonsense, my child. They're perfectly charming young people. They do the most interesting and unusual things.
Such as what?
Well, it's a secret yet. I can't tell you.
Well, don't you get too familiar with it, Granny, or they'll make you an accessory after the fact.
Don't call me Granny. What fact?
It hasn't happened yet, but it's going to.
Imagination, Betty.
Pure imagination. You won't think so when it happens, and they try and put it on you.
And what on me? You've been reading too many detective stories, I'm afraid.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
I'll try to remember.
Oh, I got a cat. Mother's like to the night Magus. Too bad about Tom Riley, wasn't it?
Do you mean the Riley boy down the street?
Yes, he was fooling around with his father's gun this afternoon and nearly shot off his own foot just below the ankle. They had to give him transfusions and everything. He'll be lucky if they don't amputate his entire foot.
How terrible. But boys will play with guns and it always ends up in an accident or a crime.
Speaking of crime, Granny, I keep my eye on those 2 upstairs. They'll bear watching.
Why, Betty, I believe you do know something.
What I know I can't say yet, but when the time is right, oh boy, that's whenever my staff jumps into action. Anyways, I gotta pack.
It's a shame to waste that food I had in the oven for you.
Give it to the cat.
You haven't got a cat.
Well, what have we got?
For your information, a trash can.
Well,
I just hate to waste things, that's all.
you're starting to talk like Adeline Wiggins. Now there's a real soul of economy for you.
Soul of economy. Well, the only time she was ever economical was last month when she put 30 candles on her birthday cake. She's pushing 40 if she's a day.
Is there anything you don't know, Nettie?
There's not much that escapes me.
Well, then I bet you heard about the Riley boy down the street.
Tom Riley? No. What happened and when?
This afternoon, he was playing with his father's revolver when it suddenly went off. He shot himself in the ankle, blew off his foot, and they're amputating him at the hospital this very minute.
I knew that boy would get into trouble sooner or later. He was gun crazy by the time you could talk him.
Good evening, Mrs. Brooks.
Good evening, Mr. Kingsley. Something I can do for you?
We want to borrow Debbie for the evening.
Debbie. Oh, you mean Mother Brooks.
We call her Debbie. She prefers it, you know?
So we've been told. I hope Mother Brooks hasn't been imposing upon you. I'm afraid she's been a bit too annoying these past few days.
Quite the contrary, Mrs. Brooks. We don't see enough of Debbie. Julie and I are very fond of her. We think she has a great deal to offer.
Thank you, dear. See you later, Nettie. Macbeth, I've been brushing up.
Now there's a lady I admire. She not only had the ideas, but the courage to wipe out the opposition. I detest people who haven't got the courage of their convictions.
Well, really? Yes, hello, Bessie. I just had to call you and tell you about the terrible tragedy that happened at the Riley home this afternoon. Yes, this afternoon, Tom went berserk, took his father's revolver, and shot his uncle. I don't know what uncle, but it was an uncle. Then there was a struggle for the gun. It went off again, and this time it took off half of Tom's foot. He's in the hospital now and in such bad shape. They're going to have to amputate his leg just below the knee. Gangrene, you know. Bad training as a child. He told her to toy pistol before he could taught him. I'll let you know if I hear any more about it. What's that? Why, yes, I have the tape measure. Yes, I'll send Homer over with it right away. No problem at all, Bessie, none at all. You're entirely welcome. Bye.
Got it. It's under the toe of my bed.
Don't go away, Homer. I have something for you to do right away.
I gotta do my homework.
This will only take a few minutes.
A few minutes, she says. I wish she make up her mind, or my mind, whether I'm gonna do my homework or not. Every day, the assignments get longer and I get dumber. What good are the law averages anyway? I don't understand. Why?
Here, Homer, take this over to Mr. Horton right away.
But I gotta do my homework.
It'll be here when you get back.
And it still won't be done either. What does she want this for?
She's going to wear the hem of one of her dresses.
Well, I don't like the styles this season. All front, no back. What phonies.
What on earth are you doing with my suitcase?
I'm going to spend the night with Madge. You said I could.
I'm well aware of it, dear, but why the suitcase?
Well, you wouldn't want me to go to Madge's completely unprepared, would you? What would her mother think?
What do you think she'll think when she sees you arrive with that?
That I'm staying the night, of course.
She'd be more apt to think you've come to stay, period.
Well, I guess it had me very well. I can't close the lid.
To ease my curiosity, Betty, what did you pack in there?
The bare essentials, Mother. Why?
Would you be so kind as to enumerate the bare essentials, please?
Well, I have a nightgown, pajamas.
What of?
Well, one is to sleep in and one is to lounge around in the morning.
Pardon me, go on.
Well, a bathrobe, peignoir.
Hold it. Is it necessary to take both?
Of course, Mother. I guess you don't travel very often. The bathrobe is for before and after you take a shower, and the peignoir is for when you eat breakfast.
Excuse my ignorance. Go.
A pair of bedroom slippers, my mule.
Excuse me if I seem repetitious, but why the two?
Mother, I do wish you'd spend a little more time and look into present-day manners and etiquette. The slippers are for when you wear the bathrobe, and the mules for the peignoir.
Thanks for the enlightenment, dear. I only hope you left room enough for your toothbrush and toothpaste.
Naturally. Also, my manicure set, hairbrush, comb, nail polish, and an extra pair of shoes.
You'll probably need those to walk back in the morning.
Well, you wouldn't want Madge's mother to think I only own one pair of shoes.
No, I suppose not. Or standing in the community might be in jeopardy.
So you see, Mother, I only have the bare necessities.
Well, if they are the necessities, I'll say this much for them. You'll never be bare. But don't you think it would be a bit more fashionable if you used my brand new Vogue overnight bag that Uncle Fred gave me?
You mean the blue one with the silver lining?
I think that's the one Uncle Fred gave me, but I didn't realize it was that beautiful before.
Oh, Mary, Mother, please.
There's a slight drawback, dear.
What's the hope?
You won't be able to get all those clothes into my overnight bag.
Well, I guess I could just spend just a few of the bare necessities.
We'll try and see if you can manage with just your silk pajamas, mules, peignoir, and important toilet articles.
Oh, that will be loads enough for me. I mean, after all, I'm only spending the night, of course.
We'll try your best and see if you can manage.
Oh, I'll manage all right. And if I forget anything, I can always run back and get it. I'm only a block away.
Hello? Oh, it's you, Sheriff Weston. Norma's in her room getting dressed for tonight. Yes, I'll call her. Hold on. Norma! Norma!
Yes, Mother.
Telephone!
Be right down.
It's that know-it-all sheriff. Hold on to your handcuffs, Sheriff Weston. She'll be right down.
Hello, Hal? Yes, I'm ready, believe it or not. How long will you be? Oh, that's too bad. How late will you be? Only 15 minutes. Why, darling, I thought you were going to say a couple of hours. No, that's perfectly all right. Your job comes first. I'll take my time putting on the finishing touches, and I'll be ready to leave the minute you get here. Make haste. It's a big night, you know. All right. Bye for now. He had to consult one of his men on the new case. He'll be a little late.
A little late? That's just a stall. I knew he'd stand you up sooner or later. That man is unreliable. Take my advice and don't trust him any farther than you can toss a feather.
Mother, Hal Weston is a fine young man, and you might as well get used to seeing him around more often, because I'm very fond of him, and I'm sure the feeling towards each other is mutual.
I always say, there's none so blind as those who will not see. And once you break with him, don't come crying on my shoulders. Just remember.
I don't think so.
Your father would share my point of view on this to a T if you were here. Sheriff Weston is just a big frog in a small puddle, and a muddy one at that.
And it's so becoming to him, Mother. The mud, I mean. These still need working on. I'll do it while I'm waiting for Hal.
There'll be some changes when your father returns.
I've got everything packed, Mother, and just the things you mentioned packed in nicely.
I thought they would. And the overnight bag looks much smarter than the big suitcase, don't you think?
Chic, Mother. Absolutely chic. And don't forget, you promised me the living room tonight for my staff meeting.
What is this staff you've been hearing so much about lately?
My newspaper staff.
What newspaper, dear?
A neighborhood newspaper. A few of my friends have decided to form a staff and edit and publish a little newspaper. Our objective is to promote a better understanding between neighbors.
Splendid idea, Betty. It's wonderful that you and your friends should take such an interest in a worthy civic cause. If I hear anything interesting in the neighborhood, I'll let you know.
This is a teenage project, Mother. We promise ourselves not to see the aided any adults. Anyways, we have our own ways of getting the neighborhood news.
Independent, that's the spirit. It's been the springboard of many a success. Did you get the tapes before?
That's why I went over for it, didn't I?
What did she say?
Thanks, and offered me a cookie.
I hope you thanked her for it.
I refused it. I've outgrown the cookie age. Women are funny creatures. They think all they have to do is fill your stomach and you'll fall for them.
I'll get it. Now you can spend the rest of the evening doing your homework.
Gee, thanks. What a break.
Greg just called me and said the rest of the staff met him at the drugstore. They're having a quick poke and will be right over. Good evening, Mrs. Brooks.
Good evening, Madge. How's your mother?
She's fine now, thanks. Doctor thinks those pains she's been having are coming from her teeth. Says she has to have an hour.
Up or lower?
Both.
Oh, that's too bad. Your mother's so vain, too.
Hello, Homer.
Hello.
I saw Lucy Decker and South Los Angeles the other day. She's walking her home, carrying her books, too.
What am I supposed to do? Go cry my coat? Girls don't interest me anymore. They're nothing but a hank of hair and a handful of heartaches.
Gee, I didn't know you liked her that much.
James, food. Don't bother me.
Homer, you cannot stay here in the living room tonight.
Who says so?
I do, and Mother promised me the living room tonight for my staff meeting.
That's right, Homer, I did.
What do you expect me to do on homework? Down in the cellar?
You can go to your room. I should think you'd want to be alone when you study.
I do like to be alone in here.
It's impossible tonight. I already promised Betty she could have the living room.
How many weeks in advance? You have to make a reservation for the sole use of this popular, revolting room.
That will be enough out of you, young man. Now take your books and go to your room.
Gee, Homer, I'm sorry we're putting you up like this.
Think nothing of it. I'm used to being the fifth wheel in this house. Did you have to do that?
I wanted to, Homer.
Where are your manners, Homer? Think, Madge.
Do I have to?
It's customary.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Homer.
See? It didn't kill you to be nice.
Women are nuts.
He's cute.
Who? My brother?
Uh-huh.
You need glasses, gal.
I'll be glad when his father returns. That young man needs to be taken in hand. Well, the living room's yours, Betty. I have some things to attend to in the kitchen, so if you'll excuse me.
That's all right, Mrs. Brooks. We'll be busy in here too when the staff arrives.
Have a successful meeting and good luck to your neighborhood newspaper.
Thanks, Mother.
So when did she find out about the newspaper?
I told her about it tonight.
Did she ask any questions?
For my mother, surprisingly no.
That's good. My family's beginning to get very curious. They think I've been acting strange lately.
Well, I think it was a great idea to bring your mimeograph machine over to my house. John's all prepared to cut the stencils, and when we're ready to roll, we'll set up the machine in my cellar and start printing.
I hope something big happens in this neighborhood soon. I'm dying to get out our first issue. 5 more days to go, huh? Getting any results?
So far, not audible nibble.
Haven't they noticed?
Sure they have, but they won't let on. I've heard them talk about it over my mic, but they deliberately ignore it every single time I'm in here. But if I don't get a tumble from them within the next couple of days, I've got an idea that will roll them over.
What are you gonna do? That's the game.
Let them in. I've got my notebook. It's in my room.
Okay.
Hi, Madge.
Hi, come on in.
I still say nobody is anybody in scholastics unless you can kick a football someplace.
Yeah, well, you need to take a course in headship in your bird brain.
If I had anything to be sorry for, it's true.
Come now. Let's not have dissension in the ranks.
As Lincoln said, the quantity of mercy is not strained.
When you handle it, babe, it comes in lumps.
Don't tell me what I mean, let me figure it out for myself.
Speaking of figures, Kay, how much advertising space have you sold so far?
4 pages.
Is that good?
Excellent. You're doing a good job. Much better than I thought you would.
No one wants to buy a subscription though. They want to see what the first issue.
And that is what this meeting is for, the first issue. Don't get up. This is an informal meeting. Let's all sit down.
You mean we're ready to roll?
All but the front page. We still have it on our scoop.
When is this big murder going to take place?
Any day, any hour, any minute.
How do you know?
I'm keeping my eyes on the murderers, that's why, and my ears too.
You know, I can think of nicer ways to live dangerously than that.
What puzzles me is how do we know the victim's name is Mary?
Well, I've heard the name mentioned very distinctly over the mic. The one who calls himself Carl said, "We've got to murder Merrill."
Merrill. Who's he? I've never heard of a Merrill around here.
Neither did I. We can't wait for Edgar to launch our newspaper. We should have a deadline this.
I suppose you're right, but I hate to miss out on such a big opportunity like this. But we must have a deadline. So if nothing happens in 3 days, we'll headline in the dog story, our second scoop.
That's the one your mother told her friend out on the phone, wasn't it?
I heard that one over the mic too.
And her best friend, no less.
How did it say?
Well, basically it's true. She didn't hurt the facts a bit, but the circumstantial evidence points strongly to Mrs. Horton.
We can use it all right. We'll handle it like all the big newspapers do to cover themselves. We'll state in the opening paragraph that it is allegedly reported that so-and-so and such is the case.
A thing like that ought to stir up the neighborhood.
It sure will. It'll start a feud between the dog lovers and the dog haters.
But there's nothing like a good, practical murder to create sales and circulation. But if nothing happens in 3 days, we're going to press featuring the dog story. Now, according to my notes, Kay, you have sold 4 pages of advertising to date. That practically pays for our first issue. The staff is very pleased with your efforts.
Bravo.
Thank you. I feel more like I do now than I did a few minutes ago.
Look.
The reporters have also brought in some good items as well, especially that choice bit about who stole Mrs. Spring's bag at the bingo party. That will go for something in the neighborhood that'll exercise a few tongues. Excuse me.
We can get our first issue out in a couple of days.
Sure can. I'm already cutting the stencils. Betty has the format all laid out. And I have the columns and a few of the minor items all cut.
I get more and more excited about it every day.
Oh, come in, Sheriff Weston.
Good evening, Betty.
Staff, this is Sheriff Weston. If you haven't met him yet, it's your pleasure now. He's a great guy. At least my sister thinks so.
Hi.
Greetings.
How you doing?
I'll tell Norma you're here.
Thanks. Now you can get along at school.
No complaints here.
What's this I hear about a staff?
Newspaper.
School?
No neighborhood.
Who started it?
Hey,
That figures. They're not satisfied with just talking in this house. They have to publish. Tell me, is Betty's mother connected with this?
You should know about it.
Oh, I'll bet she does. Listen, I have no intention of curbing your activities, just so long as you stay out of my hair. I'm all for projects for teenagers, just don't let them get out of hand.
Norma will be right down.
Fine, I hear you're gonna be a newspaper woman.
Hope to. That is if this neighborhood can support a newspaper.
That depends on what you have to offer.
The truth.
It's a dangerous commodity at its best. You need to watch out for that stuff.
I'm ready.
I'll get it.
Hello? Who? That's odd. Hello? Who? Yes, he's here. I'll put him on for you. It's for you, Sheriff.
Me?
It's your office. Said it was important.
Excuse me. Sheriff Weston speaking. Yes, Joe? How long ago? Who discovered the body? About how old a man? I see. Well, you know what to do. I'll be down to take over immediately. Right?
What is it?
They just found the body of an unidentified man in a rooming house downtown.
What happened to him?
It looks like a murder, but no one knows. Been dead about 2 days. Look, I'm sorry about the card party and dance, darling, but that's the chance you take when you date a sheriff.
Can't I go with you?
Do you want to?
Why not? I might as well get used to this sort of thing now.
Okay, but it won't be a pretty sight.
I can take it.
This is it, staff. This is the scoop we've been waiting for. Everything's set up in my room to start rolling.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let it roll. Boy, that's what I call a headline. That'll catch the eye of any reader.
It certainly has that appeal with a punch.
What has me a little worried, though, is have we gone too overboard with the murder story? The regular newspapers haven't played it up, or given much space to it yet. All that's been published so far is that a man was found dead in a rooming house on South Clover Street, under questionable circumstances and a hint of foul play. He's still unidentified and a mystery to the police.
And another thing I don't get. Nothing's been mentioned about this being strangled with a silk stocking.
The police are keeping it subdued until they can get a lead on the murderers. But if they don't have a clue by next week, we'll give them a broad hint as who they could be in our next issue of Babbler.
so how does it feel to be living under the same roof as a couple of killers?
Sometimes I get a shaky feeling inside, but I keep my eyes on them all the while. I wouldn't want them to escape before the police get them.
I couldn't do it. I'd turn over in my grave if I were alive.
You have nothing to fear, Kay, dear. You're merely just a facsimile of existence.
Just because you like me, there's no reason why anyone else should.
What if your suspects decide to suddenly pack up and move out of here?
They wouldn't be that mean, would they? After all the trouble we went through to get their scoop.
Well, we'll have to keep close tabs on them from now on. Once our story gets circulated, anything's likely to happen.
Well, Nodge and I have sampled 150 copies so far. I have them separated into 3 piles on the lounge, and while you guys are out selling today, we'll sample the remaining 350.
Madge, where is Madge? What's she doing now?
I sent her out for the evening paper. I wanted to see if anything new or startling has come up in the evening news. I really hope he's still unidentified. That will put our first issue of the Babbler right on top.
It sure will. This headline will really get them. Unidentified man by the name of Merrill murdered, strangled to death with a silk stocking.
And we certainly give our readers all the gory details, too.
But Betty, how do you know what happened that way?
Well, one murder is just as much alike as another. All you need is a little imagination to write it up.
But I mean the whole being strangled with a silk stocking bit, you know?
Oh, well, I heard the tough ones say over the mic that was the way they were going to do it.
It's on the front page tonight.
What? What does it say?
Here, read it.
Where? I don't see it.
Second column, halfway down, right there.
Oh, is that all?
Read it.
Clue found in room of dead man. A woman's purse found in furnished room gives police possible clue as to who the murderers could be. It is still believed that unidentified man is met with foul play. Then it goes on to say the same thing it said last night.
I beg your pardon.
Yes, Mr. Kingsley?
Well, how are you listing something feels last 3 days, and I was wondering if you'd found it.
Well, what is it, Mr. Kingsley?
It isn't much, really, but she's had it so long she's become quite attached to it.
Well, what is it?
A lady's purse, a small one. It must have dropped out of her bag, and she wasn't aware of it.
I haven't seen it, Mr. Kingsley.
Okay, just thought I'd ask in case you did run across it.
I'll let you know if I do.
Thank you. It's really worthless to anyone else, but it has a great deal of sentimental value to her.
Oh, he gives me the inverted goosebumps.
Did you hear what he said about the purse?
I did.
Sentimental value? I'll bet it had.
That settles it. Let's start circulating the Babbler. We've got a scoop that can't miss.
Well, here they are. Start selling.
I'll take the south end of town. Don, you take the north end. That's where you live.
I'll have these sold in no time. I have 100 prospective customers already.
These won't last an hour in my district.
Well, okay, I want you to deliver to the advertisers first, then start selling to the immediate neighborhood.
When I need more copies, where will I find them?
Once Madge and I have finished labeling the remaining 350, I'll have her put them in lots of 100 in my room. The door is unlocked, so just come right in and take them.
Okay, just so as long as I know where to get my hands on them. Come on, Don, let's go get the Babbler its initial plunge.
Right with you.
Okay, before you go, I forgot to give you a very important instruction.
Such as?
When you deliver to the advertisers, collect for it right then and there.
I'm just the girl who can do it too. I always say, never put off today when you should put on tomorrow.
Toodaloo.
Is my ponytail on straight?
Straight as a mare's mane.
Thanks, I would lopsided when it isn't.
All right, well, let's get back to our stapling job.
Running a newspaper is a lot more work than I thought it was.
This is nothing. Wait till we get out our next issue.
Oh, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's a lot of work. Gee, only 2 more days before your birthday.
Next Wednesday, to be exact. That gives them the rest of today, Monday, and Tuesday to finish their shopping.
Any noticeable results?
Well, not so far. I mean, if you say, have they asked me anything about my birthday, what I'd like? The answer is no.
Gosh, maybe they'll forget all about it.
Not a chance. That is just a fraction of what I'm gonna pull on them tonight. If you want to see it, make sure you're here by 7 o'clock this evening.
Do I have to wait that long? Can't you just tell me now?
Nope, I want it to be just as much of a surprise for you as it will be for them.
It must be something super duper.
It is, and I'll get a rise out of them this time, but good.
What's all this racket going on in the cellar? I could hear it from my room.
We're getting out our first issue of the Babbler.
The what?
The Babbler, our newspaper. You've heard us talk about it.
Oh, that. Well, have fun, but don't annoy the neighbors.
Annoy them? Well, I like that. We're doing this neighborhood a great service. We're giving the neighbors an inside scoop about them. And, you know, it's perfect for the neighborhood.
Is that good?
Well, we're promoting the good neighbor policy. See all, hear all, tell all.
Sounds like a nice little package of dynamite to me. Where do you get your news from, anyways?
Oh, here, thither, and yon. Our reporters covered the neighborhood pretty thoroughly, too.
What are you, the star reporter?
I'm the editor.
And I'm the assistant editor.
May I give a toast to commemorate the occasion?
With what?
I shall drink to you only with mine eyes, the toast. Heaven help the neighbors at a time like this. Amen. When Mother gets back, tell her I'll be a little late for dinner.
Where did she go?
She went downtown shopping with Bessie. I mean Mrs. Horton.
Well, it's about time someone did some shopping around here.
Shopping for what?
Oh, you know, there comes a time once a year in everyone's life when you gain a little until you hit bingo, then you start subtracting.
I'm sure I haven't the slightest idea what you're talking about. I've got to get going now. I'm having my hair done this afternoon.
I thought you had that done a couple days ago.
Yes, this is a special occasion. I'm meeting Tom's mother tonight.
Getting serious, isn't it?
I should hope so. I've known him all 8 days.
Norma, will you do me a favor?
That all depends.
Will you tie this bow tie for me?
What's the matter? Are you helpless?
I never had a bow tie in my life before. I don't know how to tie the darn thing.
Well, you can't learn any younger.
I haven't got time to learn now. I'm going to a birthday party.
Birthday party whose?
Lucy Wagner's, and I don't want to be late.
All right, I'll tie it for you this time.
Thanks, Norma. You're a doll.
What's in the box?
Birthday present.
Looks like a big gift.
What's in it?
Perfume.
Wow, it must be a 10-ounce bottle.
Are you sure it's perfume, Homer?
It isn't perfume exactly, it's cologne.
What kind?
Lady Esther's crushed gardenias.
I hope Lucy will like it.
Oh, she'll like it all right. She pointed it out to me the other day. It's a fancy bottle with a big, tall crystal stopper.
Wow, that stuff costs money.
All of $3.98. I'm no cheapskate.
Attaboy, live dangerously.
I wish I had a boyfriend to buy me cologne.
Not me. I hate this stuff. It stinks. Anyways, if I can't have the real McCoy, I'll go on smelling the way I am.
What's the real McCoy?
Chambert's Evening of Love. Now that is a perfume worth wearing, but it's much too expensive for my earlobes. $100 an ounce.
Gosh, I couldn't afford a wig at that price.
There you are.
Thanks.
A bow tie becomes you, Homer.
You look scrumptious, Homer. You're positively handsome in your clothes. Your best ones, I mean.
Thanks, I guess it's not too hard to take it back.
Is Almost Sammy gonna be at the party?
You better not, or I'll bust a ball over this noodle.
Careful, that was not packaged in plastic, you know.
Yeah, I guess I better. I don't want to break this. It's way too expensive.
Well, have fun, Homer.
Are you going downtown?
Yes?
Oh, I'll go with you. I'm going that way too. You can pay my bus fare.
You're much too generous.
Consider this your lucky day.
Says you.
He gets better with me every day.
Okay, drop the faraway look and let's get back to our stapling job.
Do you think I'll ever grow up to be his type?
Heaven forbid, that would be a fate worse than death. Come on.
Clear at last. We can work in here.
You're right, Debbie. That lounge is a perfect spot to rehearse the murder scene. The living room upstairs is too small and doesn't have the right atmosphere.
I'm glad we decided on a less gruesome killing this time. The silk stocking murder was a bit too violent for my taste. I like nice, smooth, respectable murders.
You're developing into a chicken-hearted softie, Julia. I'll have to go shopping for another collaborator before too long.
No comment and no objection.
So, how long have you two been writing these TV mystery plays?
Oh, about a year and a half. And I wish that I could invent a way to make murder one of the fine arts. I just get so tired of the same old mayhem.
After we wrap this one up, I think we should take a rest. We've been turning these pot boilers out on the average of one a month for the last 8 months.
And at $1,500 a script, you should complain?
I'm getting brain weary and crime soggy.
Not me. I love every screaming groan of it. I already have an idea for the next one.
Spare me, please. Let's shut up shop for a while.
No. You'll like this one, Julia. It's about a man who murders himself.
That's a refreshing angle for a change.
We'll call this one Boomerang. It's about a man.
Must you? Let's wait until this new one is in the hands of our agent.
That won't be until Monday morning. All we have to do is write the closing scene, and that won't take more than an hour.
Well, would you mind if I asked you two a question?
Go right ahead, Debbie.
Whatever made you choose Maryville as a place to come to write?
Well, we wanted to get away so that no one could phone us or inflict their endless presence on our working schedules. We thought Maryville's a nice, unctuous town. Not too big, not too small, just right.
It's been our good fortune to choose Maryville. You met you, Debbie. You're the perfect type to play the victim in this TV script.
We can't promise you that you'll get work right away in a TV play, but Julie and I have the talent to make a fine supporting play, and then do all you can so you get that break.
I can't begin to thank you two. You've given me a new life and a glamorous one at that. I'll meet opposition from my family, particularly Nettie and my son Harry, but I won't let that stop me. I've made up my mind to see this through. Acting is something I've always wanted to do, and I just hope I can live up to you two's expectations.
You will, Debbie. Don't let it trouble you in the slightest. We know a natural when we discover one.
We'll see that you're handled by the best agent in New York.
Oh, it all seems like a wonderful dream, and I don't ever want to wake up.
Would you open up just one hour for a rehearsal?
Oh, I'll always be cautious enough for that.
Right. Then let's take the murder scene. Julia, you play the part of Laura, and I'll be the nurse. We'll need a couple of pillows for props.
Oh, will these two on the lounge do?
Just right. Now you sit in that corner of the lounge there, Debbie, and Julia, you stand right about where I am now. Let me take a look at the script for a moment. All right, let's begin.
See that your patient does not stay up too late, Mr. Green, and if she won't go to bed, give her a sedative. You hate me, don't you? It isn't a case of my hating you, Mother Clark. It's a case of our not being able to live together under the same roof. And something drastic has got to be done about it.
You are putting something in my afternoon tea.
I know.
Why, Mrs. Gluck, I'm the one who makes your afternoon tea, not your daughter-in-law.
She puts it in when you're not looking. I can taste it. That's why I don't drink it. It's killed 2 plants in this room already. That's how I got rid of it. You want me out of the way so you can enjoy the fortune my son's going to inherit, but you will never get it. Mark my words, never. My lawyer is coming over first thing in the morning to change my will.
This is it, Mr. Green. It leaves us with no alternative. I'll leave you two alone. You know what to do? You've been paid for it.
You shouldn't have said that, Mrs. Clark.
The truth. I've known it for some time. I've been watching.
Let me put this pillow behind you. Rest more comfortably.
Premeditated murder. That's what it is.
Nonsense. You merely imagine it. Bring your head back just a little. That's it.
stream, but when I came up here, you were gone and copies of the Babbler were all over the floor. When is the funeral? What funeral? Say that again, will you please? Slowly. You saw my grandmother get murdered in this room? What are you gibbering about? No one was murdered in this room. I think you're seeing things, Cal. You better have your eyes examined. Yes, come on over. You can tell me all about what you think you saw. Make it snappy.
Seems to me you've taken a fancy to this room.
Me? In what way?
Well, nobody but you has been able to dust anything in this room for the past week.
Oh, I like to dust.
Seems a rather sudden affliction, doesn't it?
Oh, I get streaks like that. Say, Debbie, did anything unusual happen in here this afternoon?
I don't know, maybe. Why?
Well, Matt just phoned and said you were murdered in this room.
Well, I was here, in a way, but I survived.
Debbie, did those two upstairs try and kill you?
Yes, in a manner of speaking. And they were doing a right smart job of it too until your friend Madge screamed and spoiled it all.
Spoiled it?
Yes. Carl and Julia just couldn't get back into the murdering of it again.
I'd watch myself if I were you, Debbie. Those two are dangerous. They're doing strange and terrible things to you.
To the contrary, my child, they're doing wonderful things.
I think you ought to see a doctor.
Me? A doctor? Whatever for?
Do your ears ring?
When I hear bells.
Do you ever hear voices?
Usually when anyone speaks.
Do you ever have palpitations?
Certainly not. I've never felt better in my life.
And I have to admit, you've never looked better either. But looks are deceiving. You know how it is. A big build-up, and then the crash.
The only crash I see headed this way is the aftermath of this spirited little publication, The Babbler.
Oh, did you read it?
I certainly did.
Well, what do you think of it?
The Greeks have a word for it, I'm sure.
I don't care what the Greeks think. What do you think of it?
Colossal! Wars have been started over less.
Gee, is it that good?
Good. It's the neatest little package of trouble I've ever laid eyes on. Has your mother seen it yet?
Not yet.
I wouldn't hasten the event. She'll find out about it soon enough. She's about to find out about other things, too. Which reminds me, I have to go pack.
Going someplace, Debbie?
New York.
New York? When?
Anytime. Maybe tonight. I have to be ready when they are.
You're not going alone?
No, I'm going with Carl and Julia when they go.
But they can't go tonight. You've got to stop them.
Why? They couldn't go soon enough to please me.
But you don't know them like I know them. You don't know what they are.
Yes, I do. I've been a party to it for the last 5 days.
Oh, Debbie. Not you too.
And why not? What your friend Madge saw today was a rehearsal. Carl and Julia like to perfect their murders to ensure that there will be no hitches when the time comes to execute them. Oh, you get that. I have to start packing.
I don't get it. Something's screwy around here. Come in, Kay.
I can't stay more than a minute because I only got 30 seconds to spare. John and Greg are down at the drugstore having a Coke and they're waiting for me. We haven't a copy of the Babbler left. They sell like hotcakes. You could have easily sold them for a quarter apiece.
Gee, that's wonderful.
Wonderful, it's miraculous, incredible, and not only that, it's unbelievable. Have you got any copies left?
About 100.
I'll take them. These don't last more than an hour. They're an SRO, selling rapidly on site.
Wow, our first issue is a success, and I'll take that money from the advertisers. And then I'll go ahead and get the rest of the copies. They're in my room, and while I'm in there, I'll put this in there. The beginning of a treasury. Oh, that's probably Madge. Let her in.
Come on in, Madge.
Where's Betty?
She's in her room getting more copies of the Babbler. She says we only have 100 left, and we're completely sold out.
Gee, it's a hit!
Hit, it's a smash. Went over with a crash.
Here's the rest of them. That's all there is.
Well, they won't last more than an hour. You know, we don't have to sell door to door anymore. We can just stand on the street corner and they come to us.
Then we are in.
We're all over. We're a new household word by this time. I gotta be going. The boys will wonder what's keeping me.
Well, let me know how you make out.
I'll call you. Bye. Nothing succeeds like excess.
Isn't it wonderful, Madge? Our first issue is a success.
It is wonderful. Betty, are you sure your grandmother's still alive?
Well, if she isn't, there certainly was a ravenous corpse at the dinner table tonight.
I still say I saw his mother this afternoon on that lounge.
Well, just between you and me, Madge, I think there's something mighty mysterious going on between my grandmother and those two upstairs. I think they're going to use her as a hostage in a getaway.
When?
Tonight, maybe. And we've got to do something.
Me?
There's got to be something we can do.
How are we gonna stop them?
I don't know. I don't think of a way.
Maybe we ought to call the sheriff.
You know, that is a great idea. But we won't have to. He's coming by later to pick up Norma. He's taking her to meet his mother. And if she puts the okay on them, Norma's sunk.
Sunk?
Weighted down with a wedding band, but fast. That Sheriff Weston is a quick worker.
Hey, Sarah.
Oh, here she comes now, acts very nonchalant.
Well, girls, what's on the agenda for tonight?
A concentrated effort called Operation Birthday, the coup de grace.
The cop to who?
The big idea I mentioned earlier. To remind them of my birthday next Wednesday.
That. When are you gonna do it?
Tonight, right now. I need you. Come on, Norma, this does concern you and it will only take a couple minutes.
I can hardly wait.
A woman your age going to New York alone? It's preposterous.
I'm not going alone. I'm going with Carl and Julia.
Did you ever hear of anything so ridiculous, Norma? Mother Brooks is going to New York.
That's fine.
Fine? She's going with the tenants upstairs.
Oh, she'll have a wonderful time. It'll be a nice holiday for her.
Oh, I'm not going on holiday. This is strictly a matter of business.
What business?
The least said about that, the better, I think.
Do you have to be so mysterious about it?
I don't, but right now I think that's the better part of valor.
How I wish Harry were here. He would have stopped all this nonsense.
Happy birthday, dear Betty. Happy birthday to you.
Bravo. That does it, Betty. You win.
All right, Betty, we capitulated. Your birthday's next Wednesday. We didn't forget.
Well, it's about time. I was sitting at the end of my rope to get you people to notice.
With that daily reminder right there, how could we forget? Now take it down right now and get out of that sandwich sign as soon as possible.
I guess it served its purpose. I'll take it down.
We'd be completely justified if we ignored your birthday completely this year.
You wouldn't do that, really, would you, Mother?
No, I don't suppose I would, but I should.
I won't mention it again. Honest, I swear.
Just see that you don't, and get out of that contraption immediately.
Yes, Mother. I need your help getting out of this.
Lucky you, it worked.
What won't these teenagers think of next?
May I come in, please?
Oh, Mr. Kingsley, yes, do come in.
I dropped in to pay 2 weeks' rent in advance. Julia and I expect to be in New York for the next 2 weeks, but we want to maintain the apartment. And we hope to come back for another 2 weeks at least.
Thank you. Going to New York on a pleasure trip?
No, it's strictly business, and we're taking Debbie with us.
So she informed me a few minutes ago.
I think it's wonderful of you to ask her, Mr. Kingsley.
The pleasure is all ours. We regard Debbie as the discovery of the season. You'll all be very proud of her one day.
That, I would say, is a matter of opinion.
Well, don't strain yourself, Nettie. Let it come natural.
Can you be ready to leave in the next half hour?
I'm practically packed right now. Another 20 minutes will do it.
Good. We'll come down to get you when we're ready.
I'll be waiting.
Travel lightly. We'll be visiting in New York quite a bit.
Oh, I'm only taking the bare essentials.
Now, where have I heard that before?
I'll be traveling wardrobe light going, but coming back, I'll be wardrobe heavy with a few of those Paris models I've heard so much about.
Perish the thought.
Oh, right now, I feel so full of the joy of living I could go to the hall and slide down the banister.
That's not joy, that's senility.
If this is the beginning of my second childhood, the only thing I can think of is George Bernard Shaw's famous observation. Youth is such a precious thing. It's a shame to waste it on young people. Oh.
Debbie's in rare form tonight.
I don't approve of Mother Brooks' hasty trip to New York. There's much more to this New York business than just a trip. Those two are up to something, and Mother Brooks is a part of it. I wish Harry were here to stop it.
With that new living Debbie dies, I doubt if the rocket Gibraltar could stop her. Oh, I'll go. It may be Hal.
I better put this money in my bag before something happens to it.
Does Betty Brooks live here?
Why, yes. Will you come in? I'm Betty's sister, Norma.
My name is Bonnie Burns, reporter on the Daily Bulletin.
Oh, I've seen your name in the bulletin many times. You're one of their feature writers. You handle the sensational and human interest stories?
Yes, that's my forte, so it seems. Is your sister at home?
Yes, she's in her room. I'll tell her she has a visitor.
Company, Norma?
Yes, to see Betty.
Oh?
Mother, this is Bonnie Burns of the Daily Bulletin. She's their star reporter.
How do you do, Miss Burns?
Very well, thank you, Mrs. Brooks.
I'll tell Betty you're here.
You have a very enterprising young daughter, Mrs. Brooks.
You don't say.
Her little journal is quite a masterpiece of revelations. Its findings, if true, are something to be reckoned with on no small scale.
Well, when Betty undertakes anything, she generally goes all out.
Her bit of journalism not only goes all out, but goes all the way. She could have chosen a more
Well, Betty didn't accomplish it all on her own, Miss Burns. The idea was hers, but she had a staff composed of her friends to assist her.
So I noticed the names that was on the editorial page. Your daughter is editor-in-chief.
She would. She likes to be big. They actually got out their first issue today and have been trying to sell it around the neighborhood.
I understand from reliable sources that it's been a successful publication, and by tomorrow copies will be at a premium.
I had no idea it would command so much attention.
I understand from the way you speak, Mrs. Brooks, that you just seen a copy of the first issue.
To tell you the truth, Miss Burns, I haven't. I've had a very busy day.
Well, let me be the first to present one to you.
Thank you, Miss Burns.
The pleasure's all mine.
Oh, here comes Betty now. She'll be thrilled to meet you.
Miss Burns, this is my sister Betty and her friend, Matt Cole.
It's a pleasure to meet the editor-in-chief of the Babbler and her assistant.
Thank you. You're Bonnie Burns of the Daily Bulletin, aren't you?
That's right, and your first publication of the Babbler is causing quite a stir in the circle of journalism.
So soon? But we only published it today.
Well, you know how it is when one builds a better mousetrap.
The copies did sell pretty quickly. The last 100 are going like hotcakes.
And just for the records, how many did you run on?
500.
Too bad it wasn't 1,000. Unless I missed the target completely, you should be able to sell copies for $1 a piece by tomorrow morning.
Gee, did you hear that, Madge? I sure did. We better run off some more.
They must be spectacular.
A gross understatement. Hollywood would bill it as stupendous.
Well, I don't have a copy. They're all gone.
Do you have one?
Yes, I have one here. Miss Burns just gave it to me.
May I look at it?
Don't lose it. I want to look at it later on, too.
Oh no.
What is it, Norma?
Did you read the headline on the front page?
No, I haven't had a chance to look at it.
I'll read it to you. Unidentified man by the name of Merrill murdered.
Is that all?
Oh, listen to this. The recent murder that happened in the rooming house operated by Mrs. Nellie McGinnis on South Clover Street a few days ago, that the police have refused to call a murder and have hoodwinked the public and withheld the facts by stating briefly that foul play was suspected is that of a man by the name of Merrill, whom the police have been unable or unwilling to identify. The man was strangled with a silk stocking, which was found tied in a neat bow around his neck. He had been dead 2 days before the body was discovered. Where did you get this story?
Quite a scoop, isn't it?
Scoop? If this is true, it's a bulldozer, and you're a better gal than I am, Miss Guggington.
Hal will be furious when he reads this. He thinks all we do in our spare time is exaggerate facts and cause trouble.
Wait, what is that?
Lady Esther's crushed gardenias.
You smell awful. What happened?
It's all her fault. She had no right to print such a thing in her lousy newspaper. Lucy and I are through forever.
You still haven't told me what happened. I thought you were going to a birthday party.
I did, and everything was fine until Southpaw Sammy came in with this copy of the Babbler. You started something, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if they put you in jail for this. You can't accuse people of things they didn't do.
Homer, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the story Betty put in, accusing Lucy's mother of swiping Mrs. Bring's bag at the bingo party. It made Lucy so mad, she poured the cologne I gave her all over me and told me to get going.
We did no such thing. All we said that was Lucy's mother sat next to Mrs. Brain at the bingo party and was last to be seen next to Mrs. Brain's bag before it disappeared.
Betty, how could you print such a thing as that in your newspaper? It's libel. Let me see that paper, Homer.
She's liable to get hanged for it too. Lucy's mother's gonna see a lawyer.
This is more than I bargained for.
Betty, what do you know about this front page murder?
That's the murder mystery Sheriff Weston is trying to solve and can't.
How do you know it was a murder, Betty?
Oh, I know all right. And not only that, I know who did it.
Bless your beating little heart. Go on. My ears are wide open.
Betty, I'm afraid you've done a terrible thing.
I'll get it.
What is so terrible about it, Mother? All we did was publish a newspaper and print the facts.
We had to live up to our slogan, see all, hear all, and tell all.
You've ruined my life! I ought to slug you for that slogan.
Where is she? Where's that big babble-mouthed sister of yours?
Oh dear, it's the sheriff.
There you are. You and I are gonna have quite a session, Miss Bluebeard of the press.
You're just jealous, Sheriff Weston, because we beat you to it.
What's the matter with you?
I stink.
You're telling me? And so does something else around here, too.
Homer, you better go and change your clothes and take a bath.
Aw, gee, just when things are getting interesting too.
You're too pungent for the public nose right now.
Hope you get what's coming to you, you romance ruiner.
Use plenty of soap, Homer.
Everything happens to me!
You may not know it, Miss Editor-in-Chief, but you're headed for some trouble. And I suppose you're the proud parent of this chip off the old block?
Please believe me, Hal. Mother had nothing to do with it.
Oh, that's what you say.
Now you're beginning to see the true side of him, Norma.
Oh, well, look who it is. Bonnie Burns, the buzzard of the bulletin, the gal with the sizzling words.
Hiya, Hal. Looks like you're headed for stormy weather.
Leave it to you to be at the door before the body gets cold. How'd you get wind of this so fast?
Oh, a little birdie pecked me on the ear through a telephone receiver.
Well, listen here, Bonnie Lassie. Nothing said here is for publication until I give you the green light. Understand?
I understand one thing, handsome Hal, and it's that reporter's business is to get the story. And if it's hot news, all the better. So, carry on.
Okay, right, but I'll smoke it!
I'll get it, Mother.
And now, little Miss Know-It-All, please, take this seat. I want to delve into your clairvoyant powers.
You can't intimidate me, Sheriff Weston. I know what I know, and what we printed in the Babbler is a fact.
You're beginning to sound like your mother.
Now, Jess, who do you think you are, Nettie Brooks?
Bessie, what's the matter?
What's the matter, she says? It's about time you should have caught up with you and that paramount daughter of yours.
Bessie, what are you talking about?
This is what I'm talking about. How dare you circulate a story that I poisoned my neighbor's dog?
What, Bessie? I did nothing of the kind.
Tell that to the Marines. It's right here in this scandalous issue that your daughter is selling to the neighborhood. You know, just because I'm a dog lover doesn't mean I go around poisoning dogs.
Mrs. Horton, we didn't come right out and say you poisoned dogs. All we said that there was a crank at large who hated dogs, and your natural antipathy towards them fingered you as an alleged suspect.
Hiding behind a lot of fancy words will get you nowhere, sweetheart. I know how your mother tells a story, and this sounds just like her.
Betty, tell Bessie I never said one word to you about poisoning her neighbor's dog.
Well, I can't, Mother, not really.
What do you mean you can't?
Because you did say it, Mother.
Why, Betty, I never said anything of the sort to you.
Well, maybe not to me directly, but I heard you tell your friends over my mic.
Your mic?
Yes, I've had this room wired for sound for weeks. See, I have the microphone hidden right here in this vase of flowers. See, here it is.
That's why you were so eager to do the dusting in here. Whatever made you do such a thing as that?
Well, I figured it'd be such a great idea. You always know what's going on in the neighborhood. So I thought it would be a great idea to listen in on your phone conversations.
Betty, that's eavesdropping. It's unforgivable.
That doesn't. I might have known your vicious tongue will turn on me sooner or later. What you do to one, you'll do to all. The neighborhood's up in arms because of this babbler. Babbler is right, and everyone knows the biggest babbler in the neighborhood is you, Nettie Brooks. I will be the only one ringing your doorbell tonight. That woman should be behind bars where she can't malign the good reputation of peaceful, law-abiding citizens. Goodbye and good riddance, Nettie Brooks.
Now see what you've done. Your friendship was long-standing. I didn't mean for any of this to happen, Mother. I'm sorry.
If that's a sample of friendship, Mother, you're well rid of her. What else have you printed in this paper of yours, Betty? I was too afraid to look.
Just stories you told your friends over your phone.
This is terrible. I'll never be able to face the neighbors again.
The chickens come home to roost, Mrs. Brooks.
Hello?
Yes, Mrs. Moore, Madge is here. Yes, I'll send her home right away. What? I'll have you know my mother is not a menace to the neighborhood! Madge, your mother wants you home right away.
Thank you. Gee, Betty, I didn't know we'd get into a mess like this, did you?
I thought people liked to know what was going on with their neighbors. I didn't expect them to get mad.
You better go home, Madge.
I think so too. Hi, Betty.
Something tells me I'm getting you-know-what when I get home.
And now, Miss Lady of the Press, please take this seat of honor.
I don't want to sit there.
Sit down! That's better.
What am I going to do?
Don't get yourself upset, Mother.
I wish Harry were here.
Now, Betty, tell me the truth and tell it fast.
What do you want to know?
I want to know how you knew the murdered man's name was Merrill.
Ha! Then it is true!
Ha! Yes, it is! The murdered man's name was Merrill, a former waterfront hoodlum who built up a chain of suspicious used car lots here and in the neighboring cities. He's a suspected dope peddler, and the authorities have been keeping an eye on him for some time now. We've been trying to keep this quiet, but then what happened? This! It pulled the rug out right from under us!
But how? How could Betty possibly know anything about it?
That's what I'm here to find out. Now, how'd you hear about the murder?
I heard it over my mic.
In this room?
I didn't do it.
Who said it?
The murderers.
Murderers? More than one?
Yes, they live here. I heard them talk about it over my mic. They said that Merrill was a menace and had to be wiped out. And they even stabbed a man in Toledo last month.
What kind of story are you handing me?
You don't mean upstairs.
Pardon me, is Debbie ready?
There they are! They're the ones!
Well, come right in.
Thank you, but we can't stay.
You going someplace in a hurry?
We've got to take the next bus to New York.
That doesn't leave for an hour. Please, take a seat.
Can't stay too long, really.
No, please, sit down. I insist.
Thank you.
I'm Sheriff Weston. I don't believe that you two have heard of me.
What do you say? Have you had any nice gory murders lately, Sheriff?
None that you haven't heard about, I believe.
Personally, I go for the more brutal type. It takes more courage and a bit of doing.
And what kind do you prefer?
I don't go for the rough stuff. I like the way we did our last job, although I favored poisoning to violence, but Carl wouldn't consider it.
As I've always told her, Sheriff, if you're gonna do a murder, do a good one. Make it spectacular and sensational.
Oh, such as strangling a man with a silk stocking and then tying it in a bow around his neck?
Yes, I thought that'd give it the right macabre touch. Say, how do you know about that one, Sheriff?
Oh, I get around. And if I understand correctly, you stabbed a man in Toledo last month?
Carl botched that one terribly, Sheriff.
Yes, I am a little ashamed of that murder. We did a better job the month before that. What was the name of the guy we shot before we stabbed the Toledo stinker?
Oh, Lincoln.
No, he was the president. I mean the political puppet riddled with bullets.
Oh, Connolly.
That's the guy. By the time we were ready to make a sieve out of him with a gun, he was the most hated man in the whole community. I got a lot of satisfaction out of air conditioning that louse.
And how long did you know Merrill?
Oh, it was about 2 weeks, wasn't it, Julia?
Nearly 3. We didn't start planning that job until about 3 weeks ago.
And just for the record, how many murders have y'all committed?
Well, let's see. January, it was the welfare investigator in New York. February, it was Madame Motis to the House of Fashions in Chicago. March, it was the crooked detective of the Vice Squad in New Orleans. April, it was the union boss of New York City's Garment District. May, it was the librarian in Philadelphia. In June, it was,
The bride of the month in Boston, remember?
That's the one. By the time we did an excellent job with that. By the time we were finished, she was found hung by her wedding belt around in the attic. In July was the Connolly case. Last month, we finished off the Toledo guy.
And this month, it was Max Merrill, the dope peddler!
No, it wasn't. It was Merrill Maxwell, hosting salesman.
Merrill Maxwell, my eye. It was Max Merrill, the dope king!
Look, Sheriff, I ought to know who we murdered this month.
For your information, it was Max Merrill, and you would have gotten away with it if it weren't for Betty over there. She heard you talking about the murder and published this.
Well, I'll be. How does she know it was going to happen in a rooming house?
Because it happened in a rooming house. Remember? Right here on South Clover Street. I've heard of thrill killers before, but you two are the coolest customers on this side of Sing Sing. Now come on, let's finish it down at headquarters.
Sorry, Sheriff, haven't got the time.
Don't you get it? Y'all are under arrest. Now, are you gonna come peacefully, or do I have to send for the wagon?
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You're saying that we're under arrest?
What for?
What for? Nothing big, you know, just a mere matter of mass murders. I bet you two are wanted in every state of the Union.
You'd better go home and sleep this one off, bud. You've had one too many.
What is so funny?
Evidently, Sheriff, you have kept up with the current TV programs. These two have made quite a name for themselves in Crime Incorporated. Let me introduce you to Julia Sherman and Carl Stockton.
They told me their names were Kingsley.
That's our real name. Throughout our crime series under the names of Julia Sherman and Carl Stockton. Channel 6, the first Thursday of every month at 9:30 p.m.
TV writers?
That's right, and they have an excellent rating, too.
Well, I'll be. And I thought, you and your back were all mastermind to lock you up.
Pay no attention to him. As a sheriff, he's still green around the gills. My name is Bonnie Burns, reporter of the Daily Bulletin. Oh yes, I've read some of your stuff.
I like your style. It's got a lot of zip.
I approve of your Crime Incorporated too. So, that makes us a mutual admiration society.
How could I be so completely fooled? Every time I hang over the Brooks, I get you in my hair. Nemesis, thy name is Brooks.
Have you been waiting long?
Just long enough for things to be interesting.
We still have plenty of time to make a fuss. So long, Bonnie.
So long, and best of luck.
Thanks, and by the way, I want you to meet Debbie Dale, our find of the season. She's going to appear in our next TV play.
Oh no, gosh. How do you do? And congratulations.
Bonnie Burns of the Daily Bulletin.
Oh, nice.
Well, let's move on. We've got a bus to catch.
So long, Nettie. I'll write to you from New York, tell you all about it.
Good luck, Debbie. I'm proud of you.
Take care of the sheriff. Keep him out of trouble.
I still have a suspicion that those two are connected with a murder somehow.
A matter of mere coincidence, Sheriff, and that's that. Now, how about some more facts on the case? I think I'll refer to this one as the stalking bow murder.
Oh, Nettie, I thought I should tell you. The neighbors are beginning to gather outside, and it doesn't look like a surprise party.
Oh, dear.
Well, have fun.
Good, it's been a long time coming, but you asked for it.
I'm sorry, Mother. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I'm sorry if I hurt you in some way.
Can't blame them much, Mother, after reading Betty's Babbler.
Oh, if only your father were here.
This is one time that you're gonna have to face it alone, Mrs. Brooks.
Yes, Sheriff Weston is right. I'll get the door.
Oh, no, you won't. You're coming with me.
You? Where?
Oh, I figured something like this would happen, so I parked my car on the next street over. We'll go out back and across the lot.
But where are we going?
Oh, I don't like the name Brooks, so I'm gonna change it as soon as possible. So I'm taking you the best jeweler in town. It's third finger, left hand, furry size.
You mean we're engaged?
That's how it's done, isn't it?
Oh, how? But what about Mother?
It's her music. She wrote it. Let her conduct it.
Oh, but I can't.
Oh, but you will.